The early years of football were rough and tumble. They weren't for the faint of heart. It took tough, brave men who withstood the elements on muddy, sloppy fields. Most of the fields weren't mowed, and you didn't have the fancy locker rooms you have today. You got dressed in your car, you got dressed before you got to the game, you got dressed on the horse and buggy sometimes. And it was guys like this that we're going to talk about today. Chic Harley. This is an excerpt from our September 15th podcast of the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, and I hope you enjoy it. This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. This is your host, Darren Hayes, and we're broadcasting from the Pig Pen in Western Pennsylvania, bringing you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So, with Mike and Gene Monroe, as well as Jason Neff supplying us with the tunes, let's go no huddle through today's football history headlines. It's kickoff time. Good day, gridiron guys and gals. It's time for your Pigskin Dispatch video. Here's our feature story for September 15th. September 15th, 1894, that was the birth of Charles Wesley Harley, born in Chicago, Illinois. From a young age, all of his friends and family referred to him as Chic. In 1912, Chic's family moved from Chicago to Columbus, Ohio. There he attended East High School in the capital city of Ohio, and Chic's play in high school drew crowds larger than that of Ohio State's games at Old Ohio Field in the day. Chic Harley only played one game at East High where his team lost, and that would have been his last game of his senior season when the school lost to rival North High School. He enrolled into OSU and played out his freshman season on the Frosh team. In that era of college football, students in their freshman seasons were not permitted to play varsity ball and could only play on the freshman teams of their respective schools. Chic Harley was reportedly 5'7" tall and weighed about 170 pounds, nothing much to draw attention to as being a football star, but when he got to the main Buckeye team in 1916, the star in him started to shine. With just over a minute to play against defending Western Conference, the precursor of the Big Ten, champion Illinois, Chic dropped back to pass, scrambled around a bit, pump faked, and then took off like lightning to pay dirt through the sloppy, muddy field. Harley then called timeout, matter-of-factly put on a clean shoe and tied it, and then kicked the game-winning point in the 7-6 victory. It was Illinois' first home loss in 4 seasons. That same season, the Buckeyes knocked off an undefeated Wisconsin squad by the score of 14-3. And you guessed it, Harley scored all their points for the Ohio State team. 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points. In that game also, the Ohio State teams that had Chic Harley playing for them had an amazing record of 21-1-1. The Buckeyes won every Western Conference championship game as well, except for the very last game Chic played in. And you guessed it, the defeat came at the hands of the University of Illinois, the team that Harley stole the winning streak from earlier in his career. This last game of Chic's was some 16 years prior to the Heisman Trophy being awarded to the nation's top college football player, but many speculate that he may have been the winner of multiple Heismans had it existed when he played. Harley brought Ohio State football to the forefront of national attention as he became the school's very first consensus first-team All-American, as well as the first 3-time All-American selection from the school. Chic Harley played for the Buckeyes in the 1916, 1917, and 1919 seasons. He missed 1918 when he spent a year as a fighter pilot in World War I for the U.S. To put it into perspective just how good Harley was, let's look at the 1950 Associated Press All-Star College team of the first half of the 20th century. Chic Harley was listed as the first-team running back alongside Jim Thorpe, while Red Grange, yes, Red Grange, was on the second team as a running back. So, Chic Harley took the front seat, Red Grange in the back seat on this all-time team. Harley is one of the few Ohio State 4-letter sportsmen in history, and besides football, he was the starting guard on the basketball team, set a Big Ten record in a 50-yard dash in track, and was a 3-year starter in the outfield of the baseball team. Chic was enshrined into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1951. Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. Special thanks to the talents of Mike and Jean Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.